Something isn't right.
There must be something wrong.
Something isn't right. There must be something wrong.
Because I ain't felt like this before.
Do you think? What do you
So,
think?
we did these shots. we did some of the drums at 100 miles an hour. And we recorded some of the drums at 2,000 feet. Hot air balloon. How are you feeling?
Scared. Excited but scared.
How far are we going up?
5,500. No! In a basket. With no snacks. Or toilet.
Have you ever trusted Wicker more in your life? Part of the recording process of this record, I didn't want to just use drums in their traditional setting, so we recorded drums in underground at Chislehurst Cave. And then in a hot air balloon at 2,000 feet, and then at underwater in the sea just down the road. And at 100 miles an hour in the back of my car, actually. And these are all just to try and get the drummer, Leo Taylor, get him to play differently instead of him just being comfortable. I wanted to put him at personal danger and see if he'd play if it was a life-threatening drum situation. So we were breaking the law.
One thing I will say to both of you though is that if either of you are unhappy, if it gets faster, if you're either unhappy, please just tell me to stop, because it's not worth it, you know what I mean? So,
But instead of, so you play differently. So it's part of the recording process itself becomes a metaphor for some of the stories, or not even a metaphor, but substantiates the story that you're trying to tell with the rest of the music. And in many ways, I'm sort of, I guess, continuing the sort of Herbert tradition of like each time I make a record, trying to add another element or try and raise my ambition of it in a way. And I've come quite a long way, actually. There was a part of me that really thought that this was similar to Bodily Functions, this record, or similar to Around the House, and I sort of went back and listened to them and just realised quite how different it sounded. I've got a lot more traditional, in as much as like the studio now is a place of that has aspirations to be on the same level as Quincy Jones or something, just technically. I mean, artistically or whatever, that's a whole other story, but technically to be able to mix and have control over audio in such a sort of dynamic and precise way, and to be able to, as I said, raise the ambition of my music even further, even if I fall flat on my face or like an idiot doing, or it looks pompous or it sounds presumptuous. We had two recording sessions. One was the Abbey Road session, where basically we recorded the big band in the morning, and then we recorded a 53-piece string, woodwind, tuned percussion, harp, French horn sort of combination in the afternoon. The rest was all recorded in the living room of our house. And one thing that I'm quite proud of with this record is, for example, we're using up to 70 or 80 musicians on some of these tracks, And on some of the tracks, like Movie Star, the orchestra's very, very quiet. You know, it's almost treated like a sample, or it's very much in the background. And there's others like We're in Love, where it revels in its sumptuousness and things. So, and that's part of the sort of politics of the piece as well, of just music should be music, and it should be used for what's right at that point. Like, what story are you trying to tell, and how you're using it. So I think, having worked with just 2 pieces of bread and a toaster to make 1 piece of music on Plat du Jour, or 1 grain of sugar, which was the smallest thing I could think of to make a piece of music, I really did actually this time want to relax about it and have the ability to play melodies and to write backing vocals and that kind of thing, and just enjoy harmony and melody again.
I'm feeling like a movie star. I'm feeling like I could go dress me up in it. I'm feeling like a movie star. Look what you don't like. I'm feeling like I could go dive me in it. Soon to.
What you have to understand as well a little bit about with my music as well is that everything's recorded with microphones. So actually the inclusion of acoustic instruments in that is just a mirror or an accompaniment, a logical accompaniment to the way that I record my sounds anyway. And for me there is no hierarchy. Like, a harp doesn't necessarily sound better than a wardrobe falling downstairs. One of the reasons that I liked writing the rules, the PCCOM, the manifesto that I wrote, which basically says that you can't record anyone else's music. I can't use any sounds that I've used before. No drum machines, no presets. Not allowing myself to just make music based on other people's ideas or other people's starting points, but to try and be as original as possible. I think that process of thought impacts massively on how I try and live my life. And I think for me, music is constantly a metaphor for how we organise our life. It's incredible to me that we're at a time where we have infinite possibilities in the studio, and yet we have the most closed vision of what music can be right now. It's a repetition of ideas. And what's really amazing is in electronic music and house music, it's often happy to repeat ideas that are an hour old, you know what I mean? I've been writing music myself since about the age of 12, and I started writing songs, which is why one of the reasons why I've come back to it now. And then I started making electronic music kind of about 16, 17, something like that, and most of it was pretty pants, to be honest. It wasn't very good. But I did, for example, I had a whole 2 years where all I wrote was guitar songs, so I've got about 120 guitar songs that I wrote in a particular period and worked on a 4-track and things. So, you know, there's a very different, you know, there's a difference between a kind of a public perception of me and a sort of private perception, and I'm happy for that to exist, and sometimes you use that to sometimes you use that in the records, and sometimes you want to keep something private. There's a part of me that hopes this record does well, and then you'd have people dancing around to the sounds of 12 coffins, you know, and a track about their own death, and then people, you know, which is like 2 or 3 songs on this record are about death. So, and they're often the cheeriest numbers on there. And it might be that they find out later that the beat they've been danced to is made out of shampoo or 12 golf swings or whatever it is that I've made the record, or someone being sick for that matter. And so yes, I do consider it in some way like a Trojan horse going into maybe a pop world and trying to put ideas in there, you know, trying to put different ideas. If we have the possibility of getting people to listen to new sounds or consider the artistic process differently, then maybe they wouldn't be so quick to elect such hideous governments. It's certainly a passionate record. It comes from a place of real frustration in me about the world. And I'm very angry about the world. I'm very angry about the war. I'm very angry about the circumstances in which the world is going. It's very, very different to when I grew up. And it's gone in a wrong way. But it's passionate as well. It is passionate, and it's emotional. That's the thing that I hope. That's, you know, ultimately those are questions for other people to answer, but I hope that it's emotional and I hope that it's passionate. But it's also, it's a celebration, this record. It's a celebration about all the brilliant things that my life is and has been and can be. Yeah, with this record, I didn't want to just do a sort of critique. With this record, I didn't want to just do some sort of critique or anything. So actually, with a couple of other people, I started a new country called countryx.org, and it's a virtual place, and it only exists only exists on the internet, and it's unlimited immigration, unlimited emigration. So anyone can come. Its borders are its beliefs. So if you believe in the similar things that other people within this country do, then you're welcome to join, and if you disagree, you're welcome to leave at a certain point as well. It's just one of those things where you can't just be critical. You have to actually create some alternatives, and you have to do something different as well. Can I go now?
Have a national anthem.
Yeah, no, we should have a national anthem, and it should be "Destroy all others who don't believe with me." No, it shouldn't. It should be "Come, gentle ones, come and join our non-polluting utopia."
You are